Page 18, Sorrow. I'm guessing the title of the piece gives us the mood of the piece in this case. Let's see, because I look at music sometimes and I think, oh, this is probably a happy little piece. And I play it as a happy little piece, only to find out later that I totally missed it. It's actually a sad piece, and I just interpreted it all wrong. Oh, well, that's life, I guess. This is a recital piece. This is another piece you can play for people. Because normally when you play something for people, you play at least two pieces. You want kind of a low-key, slow piece, and then you want a happy, fast piece. We just did the fast piece. Now this is more of a low-key piece. Look it over, it's 1 page long. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. The key signature, there's no sharps or flats in it, so it's either in C major or A minor. If we look at the end, it ends on A's. I'm guessing we're in A minor. I see a lot of G sharps, and that tells me, remember in minor, the 7th step, which is a G, would be raised because they use harmonic most of the time. So you see a lot of G sharps in A minor, and there's a lot of G sharps in here. There's some G naturals too, but still G sharps. A 4/4 time signature. I want to take it one hand at a time. I need a fingering that lets me connect things if I can get it. And we'll start with their fingering because there's different fingering styles and they may not use this fingering style that I use. So I look it over. Right hand here, and it's 1 and 2 and 1. Then third. So let's talk accidentals. Now, hopefully by now you understand it, but I don't know that for sure, so let's talk. In the first measure, you have the G sharp and then a G natural. We have to have the natural sign because that sharp at the beginning of the measure, toward the beginning, is good for the rest of the measure. So that second G would be a sharp also if it did not have the natural sign. But in the second measure, the F sharp, the second F doesn't need it. It's a sharp because the sharp sign applies for the rest of the measure. So both of those Fs in the second measure are sharps. Reach up. Measure 5, 3. Going from measure 4, the last note measure 4 is an E. First note measure 5 is an E. It's a repeated note. Quite common to change hand positions on repeated notes, and that's what we're doing here. We're going from here to here, and that's okay. Then now measure 5, that natural sign is not necessary. It's a natural anyway. It's a courtesy sign. A lot of times in the courtesy signs they'll put them in parentheses, but here they don't have to, of course. And here they didn't. It's just don't expect it. Say, oh, if that natural sign were not there, it would be an F sharp? No, it's an F natural anyway. And cross over here, stay there. Then crunch up, that's fine, and then again. Now going from measure 8 to 9. Measure 8 is here at the end, measure 9 is here. I don't really want to go here to here. I can because it's the end of a phrase you're going to lift up. But I like to connect the notes at first if I can. So what I do is I just reach up and measure 9. I play the first note with 5. And then scrunch up and use 2. And I'm there. It lets me connect the notes. So in measure 8, it's here. And then at 5. There. And then back like you were at the beginning. The last line you hear, crunch up, and through. Okay. So really the first and third lines are about the same, and the second and fourth lines are about the same. So you only have almost 2 lines of music to deal with. Left hand, well, let's see, we got here, and 5/2. This lets me connect them. And the second measure, C sharp. Now, this can cause problems. If you don't fit up in here, I don't know how big your hands are or how fat your fingers are. If you do fit, the fingering in the book is fine. If you don't fit, we got to change the fingering. We can't be up in here. That means you got to use second finger on the C sharp. Well, if I do that, I got to use thumb on the B. So in the first measure, it's 3/2, and then 5/1. I'm going to keep the same fingering whether I have a C sharp or not. So it's in here. if you have smaller hands, you can use the fingering in the book. It's fine. Now, when you go from the fourth measure, however you're fingering it, to the fifth measure, it's here. So fifth measure is 3-1. The reason we use 3 is because of what's coming up. We want to connect this. Here, we connect those notes. So I like that. So you got to use thumb on both. And then here, and then here. In measure 5, at the underneath where the finger numbers are for the left hand, they have that line. That's telling you you're sliding the thumb off of here to here. You're sliding it off of here. That's all it means. Most publishers wouldn't give you that line. You just give you the finger numbers. But I'm sliding off. I'm not lifting up. I'm sliding off. And that takes a little practice because when you're playing another note, you have to time it just right so you play the notes at the same time. Then going on, measure 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Couple things here. We have 2 voices. Top voice, this is measures 7 and 8. Top voice is here. Bottom voice is here, and then here. At the same time, you need to hold this E down as you're doing that. And then, can you connect that to that? Well, I use third finger on the E because fourth finger I can't connect it. And I don't want to lift up. I want to connect it with the hands. So I'm going to use third finger on that. Now I can almost, and again, if you can't reach it, you have to lift up. I don't know how big your hands are, but it's not going very far. Try and connect this. Even if you have to lift up here to get here, try and connect that. If you can. If you can't, you can't. Okay. Then the third line's like the first, and the last line, well, that's different. Measure 13. 1, 2, 3, and similar to the second line. 1, 2, 3. Then up at 1, 2, 3, 1. Last measure. What's going on there? We have a 3-1, and then there's a -2. What? It's a finger substitution. You're playing it with one note, and then while you're holding it down, you put another note on it. Oh. Here. You substitute a finger for another. And that's all that is. You're playing it with 3-1, and then while you're holding it down, put second finger on it. And how you do that, I'm not sure, because it's awkward either way you look at it. But this allows you to connect the last note, and that's what they're after. I do a lot of finger substitutions in the piano. Organ players have to do them all the time. You want to connect the notes, okay. So at the end, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and here I'm just going that. I'm just sliding it here, and do it immediately after. After you play it, do it immediately. Get in the habit of finger substituting immediately. In some cases, you don't have a lot of time, so just get in the habit of it. And then, okay. Tricky? Really, well, it's intermediate music. What do you expect? Put the hands together. Let's see what happens. Now, I'm going to hesitate, but that's okay. I don't care. It's here. And then here. Get that? Okay. Let's go up to, or down to, second line is here. You got to get off that at the end of the second line. You got to rest, but the right hand needs that note. You got to get off a little early. I would leave this down until you play that. I got to get off of that. If you can, otherwise lift them both. I don't know how much control you have here. If you're struggling with it, lift them both. Just get off. I want to connect it. Third line is like the first, and the last line is similar to the second. put the hands together, and then I'll go over the tricky spots where I'm hesitating or whatever, and I work those out. No hesitations. Don't keep playing at all. That's a mistake. Go over the spots you're struggling with and get those ironed out. Then once you have those ironed out, then you go back and play it all. You save a lot of time. Now once I can play it with no hesitations, and speed is not important yet. Go slow as you gotta go. Then I add the articulation, and this is very connected. These are slurs. These are not phrases. So I would connect this left hand all the way through, except for the rest if I can. This. These could be phrases. They could be short musical thoughts. Or maybe it's every 2 measures is a thought. I don't know. That's interpretation. According to what's marked, I'm guessing these are phrases, these curved lines. And why is it important? Is it a slur or a phrase? Well, again, because they're done differently. Symbol's the same, but they're done differently. A slur simply tells you to connect the notes within the slur. But I don't necessarily lift up before and after a slur. That's why I was saying in the left hand on these 2 note slurs, connect them all the way across. Just keep connecting. Don't lift up between them. But a phrase is a musical sentence or a musical thought. I may or may not connect the notes inside because I can have staccatos inside a sentence. But I will lift up before and after the sentence in most cases. So in that case, I'd lift up. But in the left hand, these are not sentences. That's not a sentence. Ugh. So I would connect the left hand, I'm lifting up in the right. And then I'm going to lift up in the right, but not there. You get the idea? In the second line, you got 2 measures. If it's going to do that in the second line, then I'm tempted to believe that first line is really 2 measure phrases. I don't see why they would be different. I mean, they could be, but I don't see it. I don't like short sentences. I think that makes it choppy. So in my mind, I might treat the curved lines in the right hand as slurs also. And if that's the case, then I'm going to lift up every 2 measures. Up. That matches the phrasing in the second line. Now, they don't have to be the same. You can have the phrasing different in the first line than the second. It's just in my mind, it works better. Then the third line is like the first, and the fourth line is similar to the second. Then the dynamics, well, this is the right hand, it's the melody. P, the dolce is something else. This P is soft. Whatever you think soft is. That means this left hand has to be very soft in the background. You see these hairpins, da 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 da. Your soft come down. It's very slight. Don't get louder. Keep it soft and go down to very soft. Here and then, and the third measure is soft also. It's a little tricky because a lot of times in music, when they give you a hairpin and you get it softer or louder, you stay there. Here, you don't stay there. The third measure is the same softness or loudness, whatever, as the first measure. So yeah. And the second line you get a swell. Just go up to about a moderately soft. Don't get too loud here. You see, when you get these hairpins like that, you look in the middle of them and see where your target is. The note, in this case, there. That's the loudest part, and you're coming off. So you're going to that point and then coming back off. The left hand stays out of the way. It's the right hand we're talking about. And then here, yeah, I don't know. You have this hairpin to come down and measure 7 and 8. You're already soft. Oh, really? I think here I might go up to moderately soft so I got more room to come down. Because now I'm going to come down to very soft. So in measure 7, moderately soft, then soft, soft. And you have to plan this out or you'll be very soft by the end of measure 8. It'll be too soon. So plan it out. It's moderately soft, little. It's like every 2 beats. Down, down, down. Yeah. Keep the left hand out of the way. And then the third line's like the first, and the last line is similar to the second. You will see in measure 15 they have a pew, P. Pew means with or more or okay, soft. Here they do want you to go down to very soft. So I'm not going to go up to moderately soft like I did in the second line. Here, I'm going to stay soft. Softer, soft, and slow down. You're almost dying away here. Left hand stays out of the way. Now the speed, andante is just a casual stroll. Well, they give you a metronome marking, but feel it. Just think sad, I guess, sorrow, whatever. You can probably find recordings of this if you'd search for Bartók's Children Book 2, For Children Book 2 stuff, and list, I'm sure they're all in there, all the pieces. The idea is to get into it, feel it. I don't know how much people would enjoy hearing it. Some people enjoy hearing this stuff very much. Other people are bored stiff. Are you done yet? Whichever. But what's important is that you get into it. Do your best to actually get into the music and feel this. I tend to want to put a swell in those things, but I just feel it that way.